Good evening, everyone, and welcome once again to the place to be each and every Sunday night, where tonight, of course, we're coming to you from Rudskogen. That's how I'm going to say it. It's round 6 for Season 31 of Sunday Night Lights, where tonight I'm your host, Alex McKellar, and joining me as always is the chaotic one, Mr. Corey Steinhauser. Corey, big night of racing here back at Rudskogen, the famous free track now, with everyone enjoying the undulating hills of the Scandinavian countryside, mate.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Alex. I'm excited to be here. It's a generously lengthed track with very technical sections. There also is a little bit of passing opportunities into turn 1 and then down into turn 3 as well. But it's also just one of those real pressure to pass kind of tracks. You can definitely try and make passes throughout the inner section of the more technical areas, but it should be interesting, especially with a soft of 51.38 for this race.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Should be fascinating to see how the guys go about it. Car number 1 here tonight, going through our field, is the Cowboy for Speedy Snails, Sam Devantier. Of course, had some good results of late. Looking to get the tyres up to speed by the looks of it as he comes out of the pits. Tim Hendrickson, Team Torpedo, he's car number 2, just doing his out laps, and even the Flying Dutchman doing a bit of tyre warming these days seems to be the thing. Naoya Nagai for Team NRS, the Japanese driver, the king of quali, setting the tone for the Japanese drivers here. Another one here, and Hikaru Sasaki-san for Team NRS course, coming around the bottom section there at turn 10, up the hill to start his flying lap. Christian Perez yet to take the field, so to speak. Oh, he's just coming out now. There he is, former champion, of course, for SNL when we were in the skips. Leading ANZ driver here tonight will be Brett McBurney for McFlabby Racing, his car number 6. Takumi Yamato, another one of the squadron of Japanese drivers, here's car number 7 for Team NRS. Car number 8, yet another Japanese driver pressing for the title of both SNL champion and overall official season champion, Hiroki Kokubu. Kokubu-san, of course, from Japan and Team NRS as well. Car number 9, Xavier Sanchez. Great to see him back. Big streamer, of course, the Iberian streamer out there having another run tonight, as he often does here on a Sunday night, which is great to see. Ryan Chenoweth for Goose Juice Racing hasn't updated. I think he was going to update his team name, but he hasn't. And Ryan, of course, the Wildlife Warrior, is car number 10. Another one of the ANZ drivers heading out there tonight, Corey.
That's right, Alex. We've got 2 more AusNZ drivers coming up, with the 11 belonging to Team Milo's Luke Whitten. Just recently lost his 5K, which is surprising. So hopefully we can see a good result out of him tonight. Coming up right behind him in the 12 car is Vasco Sorosky, head clownman from Team Clowns Racing. It's great to see Vasco out there having a run. And then we have another Japanese driver in Hiroki Shoda. It's great to see Shoda-san out there. Words. 14th place car is going to be Darren Chun from AusNZ. It's great to see Darren out there having a crack. We don't get to see him too very often, but he's definitely been improving on his I rating. Up to 4.4k now, Alex, and looking pretty good. And then we have a slew of Japanese contingents coming up, finishing off the field, starting off with Hidaiki
Ogihara, yeah.
It's great to see him out there. I'm pretty sure this is going to be his SNL debut, unless he was here last week, which I was not. Then we're going to have Kenji Kuroda as our 16th plated car, and that's a very interesting paint scheme Kuroda-san has on his car. Then we have Tomohiro Takatsuji.
That's the one.
I'll just say his last name very quietly because that's going to be a difficult one for me in the heat of the moment. But he is going to be our 17th plated car out there tonight. Then we have Sunichi Otsu as our 18th plated car in the very nice chrome livery. I've got to say, I do really dig his car. And last but not least, car number 19 is going to be Daniel Repeto from Iberia And he is making his SNL debut here tonight, Alex, as our 19th plated car with
Yep.
just a 3.1 KI rating.
Yeah, absolutely. We would remember that name, that's for sure, Repeto. But hopefully we'll see how he goes. Kokubu crossing the line, setting the pace as his compatriot now, Sasaki, looks to come across just behind and pips him on the line. It's a Japanese lockout on the front row at the moment. Hendrickson jumps up to P3. Nagai-san crossing the line, taking a long way to the line, not a direct line, and jumps it up on the front row. Sasaki, though, holding out pole at this stage of proceeding. Perez now the one to watch. Devanti has still got a long way to go as well. Perez, though, former SNL champion, coming through the back stages of the circuit now. Downhill braking zone into turn 10, hairpin. Beautiful corner there to practice trail braking and keeping the car under control with braking and turning at the same time. Now through 12, short straight up to 13. What's he got for us now through the final? Sweeping left hand hairpin. It does a full 360 almost. It's just shy. You come back right on itself. Anyway, he's come out and Perez crosses the line now to finish his second flying lap and drops it on the third row there in P5. And I think Devanti is the last one to go, Corey.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he is, Alex. He's just coming through turn 14 right now, that final sweeping hairpin. Let's see what he can do. He uses all of the exit and a little bit of grass on the exit ramp there, and he comes across the line only to be P7.
P7 there. All right, speaking of positions, let's run through our grid here tonight. Hikaru Sasaki takes out pole, not for the first time. I think it's about the third or fourth time for the Team NRS driver with the 25.9. A full 2/10 ahead of his mentor, Nagai Senpai. Now Nagai joins him on the front row starting from second. Hiroki Kokubu for Team NRS locks out the first three positions for Japan in tonight's big one. Tim Hendrickson for Team Torpedo starts out a fourth on the second row. Christian Perez for Astro Racing Team joins us once again. He's starting out a fifth. Brett McBurney for McFlabby Racing leads the way for the ANZ drivers in sixth. Sam Devanti for Speedy Snails right behind him in P7. Starting from eighth tonight will be another Japanese driver, Takumi Yamato for Team NRS. Kenji Kuroda, his teammate, starts out at ninth. Hiroyuki Shoda for Team NRS starts out at 10. It's a Team NRS-a-thon here tonight. P11 for Team Milo is Luke Witten, just ahead of Tomohiro Takatsuji from Japan out of 12th. Going over the page then, nearly a full grid here tonight. Shinichi Otsu from Japan out of 13th, and Xavier Sanchez, the Spaniard, out of 14th. Starting out of 15th tonight for Goose Juice Racing will be Ryan Chenoweth. Vasco Sorosky, usually unlucky for 13. He starts as car number 12 out of 16th here tonight for Team Clowns. Hideki Ogihara for Team NRS starts out of 17th alongside him. And 18th will be Darren Chun. Starting out of the final position on the grid, 1.8 seconds off pole, was Daniel Repetto making his debut, as you say, Corey.
Yeah, that's right, Alex. As we've got just about everyone on the grid, I think we're just waiting for Vasco to take up his 16th position, and then we'll be ready to rip. But these guys are definitely going to have a little bit of fun around this track, as I think we have all cars on grid now. You can hear the revs start to rise as the red lights mean rev and the green lights mean go. We're off and racing here for round number 6, season 31 of Sunday Night Lights from Rudskogen. And already a big start there for Hiroki Sasaki, as he's going to take the lead into turns 1 and 2, Alex.
Oh, they're spewing kind of everywhere. They've just pretty much navigated that opening chicane pretty well here. As a couple of run wide on exit, though. Sasaki leads them down the hill. They're strung out. Look at this in the background. They're 3 or 4 wide already. Unbelievable. Stuff heading into the bottom of the hill. Very challenging section down there. That's turns 3 and 4. 3 wide they go through the valley. Still, they're managing to get it sorted. Kind of 3 wide up the hill, still in places. Through 7 and 8, coming up to turn 7, I should say now. Boy, this is action-packed. Oh, Witten going places. Off to the side, off to the adventurous zone, shall we call it, and comes back side by side with Kuroda. Kuroda will be kicked off out of that, if I'm not mistaken. Hip and shoulder there from the Australian. Oh, the Aussie rules is coming out early on as Shorter locks up under brakes. And I'll tell you what, Corey's been action-packed and we're only 3/4 of a lap through.
Yeah, that's right, Alex. There was also a little bit of hip and shoulder in turns 1 and 2 between Devancia and Yamato. Yamato, I think, actually picked up a slowdown there as he was down the track. Oh, there's big contact in the field as well, as Ogihara had contact with someone just now, and I think that might have been Kuroda, as Kuroda is now in the pits, Alex.
Oh, it was Chenoweth. Got locked up with him by the looks and got spat out the side. And the net code in these things is quite incredible. I think there's a bit of a bug there. The extra wide suspension in these sort of getting locked up and hooked together. And unfortunately, Chenoweth coming off second best there. Goose Juice 4 is him on Twitch if you want to see it live. For Rhino, that would be a pretty sad race at this stage. Although, out front, we've got Sasaki and Nagai, Kokubu. The leading 3 drivers are all Japanese, and Sasaki's looking to make a breakaway after doing a fair bit of running this weekend in real life endurance kart racing, from what I saw on Twitter tonight. So Sasaki well and truly got some runs under the belt, looking to do it in the virtual world here tonight. Hendrickson tucked on the back here with Perez and McBurney, the leading ANZ driver, clinging on at the back of this leading pack of 6 here as we start to round out lap 2, Corey.
That's right, and just behind them, Alex, leading the second pack is going to be Speedy Snail's Sam Devancia, as he has a little contingent of drivers behind him as well. Got Shoda Tatsuji, Witten and Sanchez in this little group. And these guys are going to have to look at closing this gap up pretty quickly. They're not going to want to fight too much, or else they are absolutely going to be nowhere in this race, Alex.
Yeah, that's it, man. I just saw a pass in the background. Hendrickson runs wide. I think he must have picked up a slowdown and he lost 2 positions. I picked up a slowdown in that closing sector myself a couple of times earlier today, and that's how to serve it. Just run wide through the final corner there at 14. Might cost you a couple of positions as it did there for Hendrickson, but it clears the slowdown pretty quickly without costing you too much. As we return to live pictures now, we'll jump back up on front. Perez last time round setting the fastest lap in P4, up 1 position with a 26.6. If depending on conditions, we will see the drivers duck into the high 25s, but only in good conditions and lightning fast pace out there will get you a 25, Corey.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Alex. These cars definitely very controlled by the way that the tires grip to the track. It's all mechanical grip for these cars, and maybe a little bit of draft, but the draft typically does not really affect these cars all too much. So they have to rely on the way that the tires contact the road and the suspension setups as they go into the sweeping right-hand corner. And this is a very hard track as well, Alex. The elevation changes, the blind crests in some of these corners can definitely provide a bit of a challenge for these cars, especially considering they have very minimal downforce.
Yeah, that's it, mate. Sasaki that time round with a 26.2, some 3/10 quicker than Nagai in second spot, as we see Chenoweth coming out of the pits in the background after a second excursion. Sees him taking his fast repair. Let's see if I can get a look at what happened to Chenoweth the second time round. I don't know if he's carrying any damage or what's going on there. It sounds like he's puttering around and he was looking for the pit entrance. That's why my telemetry said he'd had a crash. I imagine he had a bit of a penalty to serve for an unsafe entry in there, as well as our leaders pretty much line astern. Back to McBurney, and Hendrickson on the back of McBurney still after that slowdown. Hasn't been able to make any progress forward. Sam Devancia is leading this secondary pack now with Shorter, Takatsuji, Witten and Ortsu on the back. Surprisingly, Yamato is down 4 positions. I didn't see what happened to him, Corey, but he has been a pace setter all week and unfortunately not going to be on the not getting any chocolates here tonight. Oh, Witten's gone. Hang on. I just saw smoke. What happened to Witten? Coming down the hill into the braking zone at 10, moves left to right, and then Kuroda, it came back at him, and the hip and shoulder was returned by the looks, Corey.
Yeah, indeed it was, Alex. And with Yamato, I think he had contact with Devancia in lap 1, turn 2, and he actually got a slowdown. He was down 11 positions at one point So the fact that he's fought back up to only a loss of 3 positions from where I saw him in the first lap, that is an incredible effort. So he's definitely making some ground on what is proving to be a very difficult to pass track right now.
Yeah, there's really only 2 places you can pass. If you're very, very brave, you can, and very, very skilled, you can get it done through this section here at 3 and 4. As you come back up the hill, though, as we watched Avantia come back up the hill, there's not much really other than that, except potentially into turn 1, into the heavy braking zone at turn 1 through turn 2, and then it's really that sort of opening sector or so where the moves will come. Potentially down here in the braking zone at 10 is another opportunity, although we saw that go a bit awry there for Witten the lap before. Our leaders, though, getting it done. Sasaki once again setting the fastest lap, only a 10th clear of Nagai's time, but still eking out a lead. He's only a second in front, though. And these cars, you will get a sniff at about a second, as we see, surprisingly, Nagai hugging the corner, hugging the inside to shorten the track distance at 14, thinking that might be the fastest way around, whereas behind him in Kokobu was sort of making the double apex, the more traditional line through there, the double apex through 14, that long. I haven't figured out, I haven't got the protractor out yet, mate, but it's not quite, I think it's not quite 360 because the loop doesn't close, but it's a very long corner, Corey.
Yeah, that's right, Alex. I think it would be somewhere in a range of about 270 if my calculations would be correct. Maybe a little bit less than that, but these guys are definitely just experimenting right now. With these cars still being so new, it's still difficult to dissect what will be a good run for these cars. So I'm not surprised to see them experimenting with different lines, especially through turns 14. A very critical corner on this track, Alex, to get that run down the pit straight all the way through to turn number 1.
Yeah, that's right, mate. It is a good passing opportunity, probably the best one. Oh, Nagai, all sorts of loose in the rear. That's brought Perez right back into it. Perez with a 26 flat last time round, only bettered by Hendrickson behind him with a 26 flat in clean air, setting the fastest lap of the race last time round by the looks of it. Perez now, the racer's racer. He does know how to steer when he's under pressure too. A little bit short of a run in these cars, but making every post a winner. This time, not looking to play, really looking to build a gap and maybe save the moves for later on in the race. Perez looking to secure a top 3 finish if he can get past the Japanese drivers ahead of him in the closing stages. I've just spotted in the telemetry our debutant, Daniel Repetto. He's had a moment behind Witten, comes into the braking zone at the first corner in the rear, just lets go. Looks like he got a bit of a netcode help on his way around from Kuroda-san as well. But yeah, the debutant just gathering it up and getting back underway. Not how he wanted to remember. Sometimes, you know, plenty of people rock up, Corey, and they don't know that the actual event's on, and they get a bit of a surprise. They see a 5100 strength of field. It's something they haven't seen all week, you know, and they get out there and then find out later on only that they've been part of the big one.
Yeah, and there's been quite a few situations like that. I think in the most recent time was when we had Rents Brown join us for a race in the Skippies, and he wasn't expecting that to be the top split race of the week, but you know, he did pretty well for himself on debut, gaining a whole bunch of positions. I was probably hoping for the same there for our debutant, but unfortunately it's not to be, as our leaders are still racing a race. It's a 1.2 second gap now between Sasaki and Nagai, and I don't think anyone has Sasaki's number in this one, Alex. He is out to the cleaners already, and we're only halfway through this race.
Yeah, that's it, mate. I think that these guys are just putting down the laps. Like, the laps are pretty handy. We've had Sasaki set, I don't think it was clean, so oh no, it might have been. He's got a 25.9. It wasn't the fastest lap of the race. 25.91, 25.92 for Hendrickson, who remains in clean air. They are the fastest 2 drivers on the track at the moment. One of them's in contention, leading the race by 1.5 seconds now. That mistake we saw, the rear of the car letting go for Nagai on drive out of turn 10 last time round. He'll no doubt be looking to correct that mistake, but that cost him sort of 2/10 on lap time last time round, as Perez shows the nose, as does Kokobu behind Nagai. But that costs him enough. And realistically, Sasaki, if he keeps his nose clean, misses all the dreaded slowdowns that are on. They're hiding, waiting to pounce at nearly every quarter of this track. Sasaki really laying down the laps and stamping his authority on this one, Corey.
That's exactly right, Alex. I actually want to interject real quick. Christian Perez with the fastest lap of the race, a 25.85 on the last lap around. So they've got 3 pace setters in this race right now, and all of them pushing as hard as they can, as it looks like we might get a move into turn 1 here as Kokobu pulled to the left, but maybe that was more in defense of Perez than it was to attack Nagai, as the Japanese drivers working together here, trying to solidify a Japanese lockout on the podium. Seeing Nagai-san going very defensive though on the second straightaway here, heading down into turn number 3. And looks like these guys just can't quite get a good enough run to even attempt an overtake on Nagai at the moment. But it just takes one brake lockup for something to happen, as up the inside in turn 5. That's not usually a place where we see overtakes happen, but we get that a lot when it comes to these top split drivers, Alex.
Yeah, remind me never to try funky camera angles again during a race, Corey. We got a great shot of trees there momentarily, but here we are on board with Perez now, putting all sorts of pressure. We see the move. Kokobu goes up the inside. There's contact between the 2 Japanese drivers. The guy comes back on. Kokobu says, I want to crack at it. And Hendrickson is right in the back now, looking to get involved here as well. That's soaked up any sort of gap that Perez was looking to get. Now Perez is going to have to fight and move forward, lest these 2 rivals of seasons past, Perez and Hendrickson, they can't stay apart. Whenever they're on the circuit together, they're always right together, Corey. It's like there's an international magnet between the Netherlands and Spain here when these 2 get on track. Kokobu takes a defensive line. He's going to force. This time it's to attack. You're right, Corey. Last time it was to defend, but Perez takes the racing line, takes full advantage, will come out of the first 2 corners with the position, Corey. That's smart racing there, taking full advantage of the opportunity as it presented.
That's exactly right, Alex. Taking the title line there was definitely the smartest move for Perez, and he took advantage of the situation, and now he's going to be right on the tail of Nagai. And if Nagai makes one small slip up at any point in any of the laps continuing on from here, as we've got about 4.5 laps left to go, then we know Perez will absolutely pounce on it, as he is one of the more aggressive drivers that we have that race on a Sunday night with us. But looks like Hendrickson, now that he's on the back of Kokobu instead of Perez, he might go for a sneaky move somewhere here. I reckon he's going to look at making a move in turn 1 and 2, just like Perez did, because he's seen what Kokobu did the lap previously, and he'll be expecting that to happen again, Alex.
Absolutely, mate. This is the mix of the old guard and the new guard. The old guard in Perez and Hendrickson and Nagai to a large extent these days as well. Kokobu, the new guard coming through, had a crack at his mentor in Nalia Nagai, and Perez, the old head, the old championship caliber head, took full advantage and went through with a beautiful strategic move there. Hendrickson not quite there this time. Perez will race smart. He's just inching his way forward to that second position, which is all that's open to him. I'm surprised he moved left there, leaving the door open on the inside potentially, but Nagai is going to force him to go the long way around. Kokobu's fans out as well, looking to take what Perez did as the example. I raced Nagai here last night. He is excellent around turns 3 and 4. He overtook me, if you can believe it, Corey, around the outside of turns 3 and 4. That's the sort of pace that the guy's got. That's the sort of skill that Nagai carries, and he's looking to take full advantage of all those talents here tonight.
I mean, I'm definitely not surprised about that with the caliber of driver that Nagai is. No disrespect to you at all, Alex, because I know what kind of a caliber driver you are as well. But the guy is just on another level sometimes, and there's certain sections on certain tracks where he will pull a move that no one will ever expect, and he does it so cleanly, so quickly, and it's just magic to watch. I can just imagine what it was like for you being the recipient of one of those moves. But it looks like Nagai just controlling this second pack right now, just really controlling the pace of them, not letting them get too much of an advantage on him, but also not really closing the gap to Sasaki right now, just running their own race right now in this second to fifth place group.
Absolutely, mate. I think all this battling, as we see Hendrickson potentially getting on the gas a bit early, running wide out of 2 there. All this battling, of course, letting Sasaki run away with it. Sasaki's well and truly gone on this one. He's off to the races. He's out by 3.5 seconds nearly, as his second pack is where the action is and where the action will be settled. In the later stages, we've got about 1.5 or just over laps to go in this 14-lap main event for the week. And the guy continuing to lead this secondary pack, Perez, the only one to move up 2 spots at the expense of the 2 guys behind him directly, in Kokobu and Hendrickson. Looking to round this one out. I reckon Perez might just have a shot in this last lap, Corey.
I definitely think he will attempt something, Alex, because we know that Perez doesn't like to just sit there and rest on his laurels. He likes to attack as much as he can, as smart as he can, because he's not one to want to wreck a race car if he can get away with it. On the flip side of that, you know, Hendrickson back there in 5th right now. He hates finishing anywhere but first. So I'm expecting to see a little bit of action out of him as well as these laps really start to wind down. As look at Perez go all the way on the white line on the inside defensively, and then behind him, side by side just about, is Hendrickson.
Oh, Perez has
and
picked up a slowdown.
Move.
Perez has dead set picked up a slowdown there. Hendrickson has all sorts of wibble wobbles in the background. Sorry, Corey. That's why Perez was over there, and that's cost him the run. That's cost him any chance of hitting at Nagai. Nagai's gone. Sasaki's gone. Well and truly, it's now Kokobu and Perez, Corey.
Indeed it is, as you know, this is all Nagai really needs. He's not going to get pressured into a mistake now, but Kokobu is going to have to be on the defensive. He knows that Perez is going to be a tenacious driver. He's going to do what he can to make this work, and he's going to try and get onto the podium, but they still have to worry about Hendrickson behind him. Hendrickson has been making small little mistakes so far in this race, but the more he races on a track, the smarter he gets with how to race it, Alex, and that's going to be the worry for these 2 ahead of him.
Yeah, that's... Oh, actually, there's one to go. I thought this was the last one, but Sasaki's gone. He's well and truly gone now. He's 4 seconds out of some of the best drivers in the world. That's the sort of pace he's had lap on lap. Nagai now looks like he's relatively safe as they come through this final corner. It's a very long single corner. So many tracks call that 2 corners, but it's 1 here. As we cross for the white flag this time round, Perez not close enough to have a look into turn 1, and oh, though he does, that's a big send. That was a massive send, and that's what you get for a massive send. Unfortunately, I don't know that move was on, and now Kokobu is going to be swamped potentially by McBurney and Devante. Devante has been slowly plugging away at it. The battle of the ANZ drivers now, as Devante moves out to driver's left. McBurney covers him, and these 2 now chasing down Kokobu. Did he pick up any damage? Oh, he's down on speed, that's for sure. As McBurney, he covers off McBurney on the inside up the hill. Covers again, does Kokobu. I'm not sure that he's got all the pace in the world at the moment. McBurney comes up the inside. What a tragedy for Kokobu, as he now gets passed by 3 drivers, including his teammate in Hiroyuki Shorter, down into turn 10. As Sasaki now lets the rear of the car sing and dance as he comes through the final sector for the final time. Sasaki, for the first time, if I'm not mistaken, since a couple of seasons ago at the Scottish track Knock Hill, which we actually race next week, Sasaki comes across to take the famous victory for Team NRS, the namesake of which comes in second, and Hendrickson, after all that, finishes in 3rd, Corey.
Yeah, that was a crazy series of events there, Alex. Hendrickson just waited for the mistake. He knew that it was going to come eventually, and he took full advantage of it. I think Perez, in the early stages of that lap, after he did run into Shoulder there, was trying to redress, but it just didn't quite work out for him, as you know, got swallowed up by that second pack, Alex.
Yeah, let's take a look. I want to see.
Oh, and post-race road rage, Alex.
Uh-oh.
Kokobu running into Perez post-race, going down into turn 3.
You don't see that real often, do you? Let's see. Oh, I'm just trying to find it here. I reckon this might be it. Here? Is this it? No, that was the previous one. That was a big send too earlier on in the night. Now, let's go back and that was a preceding lap, I think, on lap 13. Yeah, it was. Now, the final lap, I'm pretty sure it was here. Oh, come on, give it to me. Please, I'm double clicking like a madman. I really want to see that incident again. No, it's this one here. Here it is. And you can just see. I want to go back and try it again. Hang on. Sorry, folks. I just want to see it. I think the move was quite late. Cockaboo's already turned in. And he certainly didn't adjust his full commitment through there. And I think it was probably a bit late, which was my call at the time. And yeah, look, not the best outcome, but certainly something to round out the night. Speaking of rounding out, let's go check out our results for the big one here tonight. Round 6, season 31 of Sunday Night Lights at Rudskogen. Shikoda Sasaki, flag to flag, second on pole. He might have had the fastest lap. I can't. Well, I'd be pretty close to there. But certainly taking out a famous victory by nearly 4.5 seconds. Yeah, great drive for Sasaki-san. Omedetou gozaimasu. And car number 1, position number 2, I should say, was Naoya Nagai, the mentor to so many of the Japanese drivers out there and the namesake for Team Nagai Racing School, Team NRS. He finishes in second after a really solid performance, I have to say. Tim Hendrickson rounds out your podium positions for Team Torpedo. And, you know, somewhat he took advantage, I should say, of everything that was laid out before him here tonight after getting a bit of a rough start to the evening, but finished strong with a podium there in P3. Christian Perez hung on for Astro Racing Team for P4. He was in it up to his eyeballs the whole way through, and I thought he was on for a podium there, and then unfortunately for Christian, it all came unstuck on the final lap. Brett McBurney for McFlabby Racing had a strong performance up one position into the top 5, being the leading ANZ driver once again this week. Sam Devantia, someone who shares that title quite often, the cowboy for Speedy Snails, finishing in P6 right on his tail. Hiroyuki Shoda for Team NRS, the Japanese driver, finishing in 7th, just ahead of the unlucky Hiroki Kokubu, the Piro King, tonight. Unfortunately, not ending on the podium as he so aspired, but finishing down there in P8, just behind his Japanese teammate. Tomohiro Takatsuji for Japan, also finishing in 9th, just behind a pair of his compatriots. It's a long list of Japanese drivers here. Takumi Yamato, surprisingly, for Team NRS, the Japanese driver, finishing in 10th. Only down a couple after that early incident that you described, Corey. P11 was Shinichi Otsu for Japan. P12, Xavier Sanchez from Iberia, the Spaniard, rounding out the SNL point scoring positions, just ahead of 13th position, the head clown himself, Mr. Vasco Sorowski for ANZ. Team Milo's Luke Witten had an adventurous early start to the race, and it looked like it might have continued a fair bit. He's finished down in 14th, just ahead of the final Japanese driver in the field, Hideki Ogihara for Team NRS. Darren Tune starting to become pretty regular here on a Sunday night, not one of his better performances, finishing down in 16th. Daniel Repetto on debut, down in 17th. P18 tonight was Ryan Chenoweth, the wildlife warrior, having a night to forget. And then our final position went to, well, I was wrong. I missed one down the bottom. Kenji Kuroda, the final Japanese and Team NRS driver. Corey, that's the tale of happiness, the tale of woe for some. It was certainly a night at the races.
Yeah, indeed it was, Alex, and it's still going on in the drivers' text chat post-race. Just a little bit of ill feeling there between a few of the drivers, Perez included. But you know, all in all, what a great race! I mean, these guys turned it up. The warm-up race was a bit single-filed out, and you know, just kind of got really strung out between everyone. But this race, we saw grouping, we saw some action, we saw some great overtakes, and we saw a little bit of drama there towards the end of the race. So it's definitely going to be up there for this season.
Yeah, mate, had a bit of everything there at a track that's been a little bit single file at time, and often it's been the track itself that draws out the action in a race. There's a bit of that to begin with for sure, but ultimately it was the drivers who told the story with their actions, which was how we like to see it, of course. Now, we've got a couple of our finishers here tonight. We'll start with our podium sitter, Mr. Tim Hendrickson. Tim, big night of the races. I felt like it came to you at the end, perhaps not the way you would have expected.
Oh, very much not my night. This, quite confident early in the week, and it just sort of dropped off. Had an incident in the middle of the week that really annoyed me. Someone intentionally killing me, and I haven't really driven since. So I just hopped in today, and it wasn't feeling it, but I can't complain about a P3.
Nah, that's it, mate. You know, I saw your pace firsthand during the week, and you were right up there with it. I know, or I get the sense that this is a track that you enjoy from a pace perspective. But having said that, you know, you stuck in it, the pace shone through, and you were able to compete right there at the end, and it certainly all happened around you, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'm happy. I gained a couple of places at the end there. Quite an argument at the end, but as I usually say, treat others how you want to be treated, and they both treated each other just the same. So I don't know what they're both angry at. I made some profit out of it. I can't complain. I'm happy.
Yeah, that's it, mate. All right. Well done tonight, mate. I'm persevering, showing a bit of patience and having it shine through at the end there. Anyone you'd like to give a shout out to tonight before we let you go?
Twitch chat for being the best chat on Twitch.
Very good. All right. Well, we might leave it there, Tim. Look forward to seeing you again soon, mate.
Bye.
There you go, Corey. That was Tim Hendrickson, who I must say had a bit of a quiet race by his standards. Good to see that he persevered and supported the series after having a rough midweek race by the sounds of it. And certainly great to see him get a good result.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Alex. And as you said, a quiet race by his standards. He just waited for the positions to fall into his lap, which sometimes you'd rather be lucky than good. And he was definitely very lucky tonight by avoiding those incidents and just running his own race.
Yeah, that's it, mate. That's it. All right, we'll grab Mr. Christian Perez, who finished fourth in this one. The move didn't come off there at the end, Christian, unfortunately, but managed to salvage a P4 in the end.
Yeah, great race. Very hard to keep follow these guys. Yeah, they are super quick, and just trying to manage to get where they made a mistake. I overtake. There is no other way.
Yeah, sorry,
yeah,
mate, go ahead.
Yeah, and then that final crash. Well, so sorry for him, but he did that like 2 laps before, and I avoid the crash. So I said, okay, you overtake like that, I'm gonna overtake like that, and he did not avoid the crash. I'm so sorry for him, but he did not give that place back. I don't know if I would do, but uh, this is not how you overtake. And I tried again like crazy, but he didn't avoid the crash, so we crashed. That's it.
Yeah, mate, listen.
I'm sorry for him, but
yeah, I understand, mate. I did try and pick up the action, then I saw it was a mirror image of the one before, and sometimes, yeah, in the heat of the moment, these things happen. I did want to refer though, there was an overtake you did earlier in the race where Kokobu attacked Nagai through turn one, similar sort of move, and then it looked.
I was forcing that too.
Yeah,
I was trying to force that because there is no other way to overtake. If the car ahead doesn't attack, you cannot attack. So
yeah,
it is very
absolutely.
difficult.
So yeah, again, there's two things that went through my mind on that one. Was you were attacking Kokobu, forcing him to do something, not to just sit there behind Nagai in the draft, but then where he attacked offline, you then went through on the racing line, carried more speed, and were able to go underneath him there. It looked like a really good piece of racecraft.
Yeah. We were racing very fair, but it was a little bit ugly at the finish. With Koku and me. But well, that it is a little bit sad for the race because it was very intense race. Congrats to Sasaki because he was in another planet. But well, I'm very happy to at least stay in the group and try to fight a little bit for the podium, and that's a win for me.
Excellent. All right, mate. Well, great to see you out there. Thank you so much for coming back this week. Another good result for you in the bag. Is there anyone you'd like to say g'day to or thank while you're here?
No, to anyone, just to the people that try to avoid crash. Anyway, to everyone, avoid the crash because if you close, it is going to crash. Doesn't disappear like Gran Turismo.
That's it. All right, Christian, mate. We'll talk to you again soon. Thanks for joining us, mate.
Okay, ciao.
Yeah, Corey, Christian Perez. Very interesting, isn't it? You talk about the different perspectives on thing, and Kokobu did try that move a couple of times and it came off. And it's interesting, for me, an overtake or a move like that, it does require both drivers, one to be aware that the other one's made the move. And I thought Christian's one was a bit late, but I'd have to go back and have a look at when Kokobu did it. Was it just the skill of Perez that made it look like it was a success? You know what I mean? It's so subjective at times. And I think Christian's attitude of finishing the race first, rather than going at all. Look, it's all comes down to tactics and mindset, and it's a very fascinating part of racing at the top end of town.
Yeah, that's right, Alex. And that's why I also like doing these post-race driver interviews, because then we really get to see the mindset of the drivers in these heated moments. And Christian Perez definitely gave us a very clear picture of what his mindset was. He was going to race Kokobu how he felt Kokobu raced him. And, that was the end result. So these guys definitely put it all on the line every single week. And, we're the better off for it with the way that the racing has turned out here tonight.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. All right, we'll just grab the final one for the top split there, the Cowboy, Mr. Sam Devantier, Cowboy. P6 tonight. Had a bit of hard work there to earn that, and looked like a decent battle going on there with Brett there for a while.
To be honest with you, I'm sorry if I'm a bit on crook right now, but got slowed up turn one, so yeah, it wasn't that great to be honest with you. So I wasn't honestly confident coming to this race because I did limited running, and then I finally got the hang of this track, but a bit late now end of the week, but oh well. So yeah, I don't know. There's some interesting comments after the race. I can tell you right now, but I'm glad I was involved in that because yeah, but yeah, it was all right. To be honest with you, I just had my own race. Yeah, that's what I gotta say. I just my own race. I come back next week and not kill.
Beautiful. Yeah, mate. I know that's one of your favourite tracks, and hopefully one that turns up another good result for you, mate. But yeah, plugging away there. The slowdowns here are killer, but top 6 result, no harm done for yourself, which is good. But look, again, onwards and upwards for next week, mate, at Knock Hill. But before we let you go, mate, anyone you'd like to say good day to or thank?
Just you guys, I also do the broadcast every single week. Obviously everyone shows up tonight again. It's pretty good. Sean Carron and Rock Brown, they were being a bit of a wusses not doing this race, and they said to me, who's the last guy who gets for iRating? I'll tell you. And it was 3.5, and they didn't show up. So yeah, shout out to those two, been a wuss. Better see you next week, you two.
That's it. I've watched a couple of Warwick stream, and yeah, he's pretty handy. I reckon he'd have a good run here on a Sunday night. So hopefully he joins us in the near future. All right, mate. Well, thanks for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you out there again soon.
Yep. See, his channel's Krusty Demon Race, and that's Warwick's channel if you want to watch him on Twitch.
Yeah, beautiful. Thanks, mate. Oh, tell him he needs more cameras too. I'm not sure he's got enough. Yeah,
he needs a lot more cameras.
Yeah, and if he's going to race, put the first person view in a little tiny box. I think it's too big now to see the first person view.
Well, he is listening, so he's listening.
All right, mate. Thanks for that. Feedback's sent. All right, mate. Talk soon. Thanks, Sam.
Yeah, see ya.
There you go, Corey. That was the Cowboy, and a bit of healthy banter. Hopefully we see a couple of those guys out on track soon. There's a couple of strong drivers in that field for the ANZ guys. This is the ANZ strength of field race at its heart. At the moment, it's dominated by the Japanese. It's been some of the Europeans in seasons gone, and we've even had some ANZ winners there in the past too. It's a great mix here on a Sunday night. Love to see the resurgence of the ANZ guys though.
Yeah, that's right, Alex. This is why I was always officially or unofficially calling it the World Soft race because we just always seem to get the best drivers from around the world here to race with us, and even our Australian guys, McBurney, Devantia, they're no exception to that. They are some of the top world class drivers at the moment in Formula Ford racing. And it's great to see them out on track, having a crack and having a bit of fun with a little bit of bants at the same time.
Yeah, that's it, mate. Well, we might just grab the 1 second split runner that we had waiting for a chat, Mr. Greg Adams, the other clowning around here tonight. Well, he wasn't clowning around. He finished second in the second split, mate. Good drive out there.
Yeah, thank you. It was pretty aggressive in B grade. It was up and down and all over the place. Sort of started fifth, up to second, and then back to sixth, and then back up to second. So yeah,
up and down.
Very happy with that.
Yeah, up and down like a yo-yo by the sounds of it, mate. Plenty of action going on there. Any highlights to make a mention of?
Well, I was fourth coming onto the last lap, so last lap was an awesome one.
Yeah, nice. Love it. All right, mate. Well, congratulations. You'll be racking up the points there, and won't be long, hopefully, before you see you in the main game once again. 68 I rating under the belt's not too bad either. So well done on a top drive. Certainly got the most points of the clowns out there tonight. Hopefully, though, we'll see more of you in the top split soon, eh?
Yeah, I think I'm the happy clown in the crowd.
Yeah, right. All right, mate. Well, before we let you go, anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
Just you guys for putting on that that broadcast. Sort of pushing hard to get back up into A grade. So and my clown friends.
Yeah, beautiful. All right, mate. Great to see you again. Hopefully, we get to see you out on track again soon.
Thanks, mate.
Yeah, Corey, Greg Adams, one of the clowns in the lower splits. We say that with all affection. He is one of Team Clowns, of course, and he did put on a great drive there and a great performance to finish second in the second split.
Yeah, that's right, Alex. Well, B grade, as he likes to call it. It's great to see Greg Adams getting into the mix of things. He's a great driver as well, and I think before too long, we will be seeing him in the top split because he's really been on the pace lately.
Yeah, he's had a few runs before. It all depends on how his IRAT's travelling any given week and then how the folks turn up on the night for the big one. Of course, we do, for the SNL Championship, score the top 4 splits, so you can be part of the action, whether you're on the broadcast in the main race or knocking about like Greg was this week in the second split and having your fun each and every week. The likes of Ken Himes and stalwarts like Mark Jeffrey and those who just run each and every week supporting the series. We do it for people like that as much as we do for the guys out here in the broadcast. But folks, that might do us for now. That's another big one in the books. Corey, tell the folks at home what you got coming up this week.
So this week on the Aussie Sim Commentator channel, twitch.tv/Aussie_Sim_commentator, we have a Dover race going on, which is always going to be a bit of fun with these next-gen cars. They generally do put on a bit of a show. Apart from that, it's just we'll see what's going on with my personal channel. I haven't been very active there lately. There's been a lot going on in the personal life, hence why I wasn't here last week. But hopefully soon we'll get back to a somewhat kind of half regular, not really schedule.
Yeah, perfect. All right, mate. That might do us for now as well. Make sure you go check out this and every other race replay for the 31 and a bit seasons we got of M&L and SNL action over on the Top Split YouTube channel. The Twitch channel, Top Split TV, is where you find us each and every week here on a Sunday night, bringing you the best action around. Once again, the strongest field of the week by some margin, where the best drivers come out to play. And of course, join us in the Discord community, which is where all the news and views and the latest results and everything when Alex does them eventually, all there for everyone to see. But for now, folks, on behalf of the chaotic one, Mr. Corey Steinhauser, I'm Alex McKellar. A big thank you to everyone who joins us on track and in the chat each and every week. Your support is very much appreciated. Until next time, I will say ciao for now.